Hey there, history buffs. You think you know history? You've memorized the dynasties of China, you can recite the US presidents in your sleep, and you could probably write a pretty killer essay about the French Revolution. Well, buckle up, my friends, because today we're diving into the weird, the wacky, and the downright unbelievable side of history. That's right, we're talking about historical facts so bizarre, so strange, that you'll be left wondering if someone just made them up. But trust me, these stories are 100% real, and they're about to change the way you look at the past. Let's dive right in. Picture this. It's 1807. Napoleon Bonaparte, ruler of France, conqueror of Europe, is feeling pretty good about himself. So he decides to celebrate with a nice relaxing rabbit hunt. Hundreds of rabbits are gathered for the big day. Now, I don't know about you, but when I picture a rabbit hunt, I think of people running through fields, chasing after quick little bunnies, but that's not what happened here. Oh no. Instead, when the rabbits were released, they didn't hop away in fear. They didn't scatter in a flurry of fur and whiskers. No, these rabbits charged straight at Napoleon. A tidal wave of fluffy fury headed directly for the Emperor of France. Apparently, someone had forgotten to tell Napoleon's staff that you're not supposed to hunt farm rabbits. You see, these weren't your average wild hares. These were domesticated bunnies used to being fed by humans. So they saw a huge crowd of people and thought, oh boy, here comes breakfast. Napoleon, conqueror of nations, was utterly defeated by a horde of hangry bunnies. Now, if you thought killer bunnies were weird, hold on to your hats, because it's time to talk about a penguin. Not just any penguin, though. This is Sir Nils Olav, and he's kind of a big deal. Sir Nils lives at the Edinburgh Zoo in Scotland, but his heart belongs to Norway. You see, he's the mascot of the Norwegian King's Guard, and he takes his job very seriously. So seriously, in fact, that he's been knighted. That's right, Sir Nils Olav the Penguin is a knight. He was knighted by King Harald V of Norway himself, and he even holds the rank of brigadier. So technically, this penguin outranks a lot of humans. And the best part is, this isn't some honorary title. Sir Nils earned his rank through years of dedicated service. Well, mostly just by being awesome and letting people take pictures with him, but hey, who are we to judge? We've all heard stories about how the pyramids of Egypt were built by thousands of slaves, right? Well, get ready for a history-altering plot twist. It turns out those ancient Egyptians weren't building giant tombs for pharaohs for free, they were getting paid. And what was their payment of choice? Gold? Jewels? Nope, it was beer. That's right, the pyramids were built on a foundation of barley and hops. The average worker received about 4 liters of beer every single day as part of their wages. That's like a whole gallon of beer. Talk about a generous benefits package. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, wouldn't everyone be too drunk to build anything? Well, surprisingly, no. The beer they drank back then wasn't as strong as what we drink today, plus it was probably safer to drink than the water. So, cheers to the ancient Egyptians for inventing the world's first employee perks program. In the year 1233, Pope Gregory IX made a decision that would have some pretty disastrous consequences. See, Pope Gregory was convinced that black cats were demonic familiars, witches in disguise, agents of Satan himself. So he did what any reasonable person would do in that situation. He declared war on cats. That's right, the Pope of the Catholic Church decided that all felines, especially the black ones, had to go. And so began one of the strangest persecutions in history. Cats across Europe were rounded up and exterminated. People believed the Pope's words and they were terrified of the supposed evil lurking in the shadows. But here's the thing, cats are actually pretty good at keeping the rodent population in check. And guess what rodents carry? That's right, the plague. So, ironically, Pope Gregory's war on cats probably helped to create the perfect conditions for the Black Death, which would ravage Europe just a few centuries later. The Cold War was a time of intense paranoia and espionage. Both the US and the Soviet Union were constantly trying to outmaneuver each other, and they weren't afraid to get creative with their tactics. Now, when you think of Cold War espionage, you probably picture spies exchanging secret documents in smoky back rooms, or maybe planting listening devices in fancy embassy cocktails. But the CIA took a slightly different approach. They decided to use pizza. Yes, you heard that right, pizza. Operation Pizza was the brainchild of the CIA's Technical Services Division, and it was as ridiculous as it sounds. The plan was to set up fake pizza delivery services near Soviet military bases and use the delivery guys to gather intelligence. I can only imagine the conversations. One large pepperoni with extra cheese and... Oh, by the way, have you seen any intercontinental ballistic missiles lately? Sadly, there's no record of Operation Pizza ever actually being put into action, but it just goes to show that even in the midst of a global standoff, people still appreciate a good slice.